Because it was the sun's life-giving energies, effectively.
Were we told by, I think it was Irina, who has the thing that can see through chests, or is it Andy?
No, that's Irina.
Irina. Did she tell us about the thing that was inside the chest that the gnome was sitting on?
Did she?
Think?
Yes.
Or was it just Llewellyn?
Oh, actually, I think it was just Llewellyn.
Okay, I will ask that then. Oh, but I don't know. God damn it. Oh, I can't metagame this. I just don't know then. Okay, no worries. I was actually going to ask if it represented a sundial in the chest, but
You saw lots of different like cogs, springs, and rivets, so you didn't perhaps see anything that resembled a sundial.
okay. I wouldn't know that anyway, but in regards to that, okay. That was kind of what I was looking for. So sorry, that was a bit of meta in my behalf.
You know I can look through objects if I look close enough, but you don't know I looked through the chest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wouldn't be in Kesh'an's first mind to go, what was in that chest in this place anyway.
You can always ask me to take a look.
I don't know it yet. I will think about it. Okay. All right. No worries. Yeah, that's all I wanted to look into. So yeah.
Okay.
Moon for the gnomes, sun for the elves. Okay.
Yes.
Before we rested, could I have give the book the wings to start nibbling on over the night?
Yeah. The wings are sort of pulled apart and nibbled on until they're a suitable size for the actual book to equip, effectively. Your book, after long analyzing of the insect wings, speaks up and says, Llewellyn!
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be happy with this one. These wings have been highly adapted for flight in narrow spaces and quick movement. You've got to check this out. And you suddenly see a page flick open, and so like 4 of the pages seem to suddenly lift up and emerge. They sort of like unfold into these hexagonal patterned hornet wings, and suddenly you hear a as it buzzes up, and yeah, it's able to hover mid-air and fly.
Nice. Do I get a flight speed on that in terms of like how it can move?
It's the same as your speed, still,
So
but it's a hover.
30-foot flight.
30 foot of hover, yeah.
Hover. So
Yeah.
how like
Hover means that they can stay stationary and stay aloft.
damn.
And then as he kind of like lands again, says, "Pretty cool, right?
Definitely.
You should also read the actual wings."
Yep.
And as you look carefully, you do see that as they fold back up and into their kind of square-shaped pages, they are littered with arcane runes and the instructions and somatic components for the fly spell.
Yeah.
It is. And it's a fly spell that will give you a hover speed as well.
Oh.
I think fly does that already as a kind of spell. Anyway. So yeah, not bad.
So the
Gaining fly.
So the book can only hover, but I can use the fly spell.
Yeah. Alright. I think fly is a self range. No, it's actually a range of touch.
Touch.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay, everyone comes to. It is this bright light filtering through the canopy of leaves, which kind of gives it this green tint, but it is stiflingly hot and stuffy within inside the hut itself.
I am sweating in places I've never thought I could sweat before. I need out.
I mean,
Whereas
you're
probably-
covered in fur, so you can only sweat through your pores.
I'm drenched.
I feel fine.
Yeah, to be honest, this is more my sort of climate, to be honest.
It's too wet. It's nice
It is
and hot,
not-
but it's wet.
Yeah, it's like humid.
Yeah, I come from the coast, I'm used to wet.
Yeah, I like dry, not wet.
Yeah.
It ain't cold, I'm not complaining.
Alright.
Rib Dip is also up as well. Excuse me. But he hasn't actually able to speak because you haven't cast Rory's telepathic bond yet.
Oh,
So it's just kind of like, guys awake. Even though you're clearly already awake, he seems to be like slapping you with the end of his spear. He's like, Kochi Kochi!
Llewellyn, if you could do the honors.
Right.
Rituals. And I get to work on it.
Smith up!
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, just shakes his head. But once he's kind of gone around and given you all at least one tap and got you to your feet, he seems like ready to push on back through the jungle.
Does Llewellyn manage to finish the ritual?
He seems to be pushing on before he's had time to kind of finish it. You're like, no, wait! And you're still like, trying to cast the spell as he's already pushing on and going,
I'll just try and fend him off Llewellyn and just buy time so the spell's cast.
Yeah, he's already kind of pushed on through the jungle. So
Okay then.
unless you're trying to like hold him back.
Hold him.
Yeah.
Alright, roll a athletics check.
Can I give him a poke and just stunning strike?
Or do we just let him go ahead because we've got the proof we killed the queen, he doesn't.
What proof?
We took the head, didn't we, if I remember rightly, one of us?
No, I tried to take the stinger but failed.
Yeah, you've got the wings, they're pretty impressive.
What wings?
Yeah, you see like bits of desiccated wings everywhere.
Well, they'll just have to believe us. One of you will have to be really convinced.
Right.
I mean, Rip Dip seems really, really hell-bent on getting back, so maybe he's got proof.
Okay, let's just crack on. I'll try and carry Llewellyn while he's trying to focus on this spell.
Yeah, Rip Dip is our proof.
Right.
You'd think he'd be a little bit more thankful and be a bit nicer after we saved his ass about 3 times.
This is what I'm going to hopefully aim for when we get back.
You don't know what he's saying.
No, he's just being really pushy. Alright, let's just get moving.
Instead of doing my ritual circle on the floor, I'm just doing it on Kesh'an's back as we go. You just feel chalk being drawn on you.
Nice.
So you're heading back to Chief Jackrack.
Yes.
Cool. Alright. Yeah, it takes you a couple of hours travel before you finally make it back to the Frenzy Heart tribe. The Borzo tribe. Where are the actual maps for that? Where did I put it? Is it this one?
Is there actually a map for it? If it was just a picture.
Nope.
No, I just had artwork for it, but
No, it was like
I think it was
a,
on this
That
page.
giant tree monster.
yeah, it was like a swamp with little huts.
I found it.
That's oh yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, cool. All right, so yes, you return, and as the little furry creatures are coming out of their huts, they spot you, and you see Rip Dip sort of addressing them, and you can hear him like, "Give job, pretty crap," talking to his friends.
Would
it-
Llewellyn have finished the spell?
I think, yeah, by now at this point, probably right.
It only takes 10 minutes.
Sure.
We've been traveling for hours.
Gotcha. So by the time you get back, he is fully understanding what the little creature is saying.
Gresh, just before we go into this, would this be a good point to have a break before continuing?
Yeah, that's actually not a good shout. Yes, let's do that. So we will be right back, going for a quick 5-minute break, and get a drink. See you in a bit.
Back.
Bye.
All right, hello, welcome back. We did have some technical difficulties at the start of the session, so we may have not been able to record that. Not a problem though. I'll just do a quick run by of what happened. The group delved into the hive, killed the queen, escaped narrowly, whilst the honey exploded thanks to a stick of dynamite that was planted deep within the queen's lair. They then emerged, fended themselves off from a bunch of centipedes, explored a few incredibly interesting techniques with an arrow and a flying cat, but we'll see if that's used again later in the future. And they've now taken a long rest, so they are on their way back to the Borzo tribe. These furry little creatures have been nattering and barking to each other. You've just completed a ritual to sort of understand their language once again, and as Rip Dip is parading himself through the actual town, he's like, "We did it! Killed Queen! Big thingy mama dead!" And Jack Ryan is like, "What? Killed Queen? You killed? No, not possible. Where proof?" Rip Dip says, the big hive go boom. Sticky cave in. And it's like, so you bring queen head, no parts?
I pull out all the stingers I collected.
Yes. Well, what's he call you? I don't know what to call you. He goes, yes, Elfie slave brought Sting. And yes, you bring forward stingers, and they go, you good hunter. And he sort of stabs his spear into the ground twice, making this kind of hollow wooden sound across the boards. And he seems to gain the attention of lots of the tribe as they gather around. and he says, "These here now upgraded to hunters, honorary hunters of tribe." And one of them's like, "Are they still slave? They hunter slave?" And he's like, "Uh, no, drip drop. They are slave hunters. No, wait, that sound bad. They just as good hunters as Pritapap over here." And you see one of the other ones kind of like look around. He's kind of got this big feathered mask that he's made for himself. Looks like he was quite a hunter of station, but Kesh'an, well, and he says, "Now, you honorary hunter of Borzo tribe, you hunt and kill sticky leafies with us, yes?"
What?
Well,
That's
we are
six-
actually on a journey ourselves. We are happy that we are able to do this deed for you. However, there was something that we were going to be discussing on completion of this.
Yes, how to kill sticky leaf.
Not quite how to kill, but what went wrong.
It went wrong.
Yes, is there somewhere where we'd be able to sit down and discuss this?
I'm sitting down and talking now.
Might
You
we have
speak
seats?
French. You speak to Jack Rack, you speak to whole tribe.
Very well. So,
Even
man-
little Gek. You see a little baby Borzo kind of come out in the corner here.
so you might be the generation that I may be referring to, maybe your forefathers. But a man came through here by the man of Ladorvu. He travelled through these lands, and things were very much different. I would like to know what happened.
We know heard of Ladodo before, but if he come long time, then we no remember. Or it was before Jack Rack was even born.
And very well, that's one thing out of the way, but what happened between the tribes here?
They kind of get a little bit angry as you ask this question. And they speak up and they're like, silly sticky leaves. Think singing to sun give them power. Jack Rack shows silly leaves how to get power. We take it. And they like raise up, and one of them like lifts up the stinger that you kind of fell on the ground. They raise it up. Yeah, they're plants. They grow and destroy everything. Overgrow whole jungle. Look around, and you do see that the jungle is lush and overgrown in every direction you look. It chokes, strangles our home.
Well, perhaps we might be able to get an understanding from the sticky leaves, and see perhaps what exactly is going on. Maybe there is, siggy leaves.
Yeah,
Maybe,
you've no idea.
maybe there's a solution to this rather than just outright hating each other. After all, they worship the sun, you worship the moon. This place is meant to be...
How you know we worship moon?
That's for my descendants. My descendants were the ones who passed through these lands. I, per se, know your forefathers, I guess, in a way.
Moon. Moon gives us power, makes us strong.
As the sun
And-
gives the Siggy leaves their power.
You see them brandish their claws, not in a threatening way, but you sort of see them like arms outstretched, as if sort of forming half a semicircle and lifting up. And you do see their long claws that have this sort of silvery sheen to them.
We have seen the power of your people in play, and it is very impressive, as well as your people have seen our power in play.
Hmm.
But maybe violence isn't the only answer in these lands. So perhaps once we speak to these Siggy leaves, we might actually be able to come to an understanding about what's happening and get...
You
Best
speak of
of us.
violence. We live in violence, thanks to cabbage brains. They're the ones who caused the hornets to grow so big. The wasp, buzzy buzz.
And how did they manage to do that?
And he looks and gestures around to the rest of the jungle. And he says, "You see, the jungle grows. The creatures grow."
That's the way of nature in itself. It's in its essence. You do understand that you need both the sun and moon for prosper anywhere in the world.
He says, "Not to the point where we nearly get stung by them. Ziggy leaves make everything grow out of control.
Right.
They know no stopping. They know no end. Cabbage brain's gonna get us all killed."
Perhaps we need to have a conversation with them to see what exactly is going on, and once again try and come down to an understanding, an agreement.
They do not seem to take kindly to this word, but I will allow you to roll me a persuasion check. Might be the first of many in a long chain, but this is get them to consider.
It's great that my persuasion's so high.
Yeah.
Oh, the 14 with a -1. Nice.
You want us to go to Siggy Leaves?
Maybe if things are too heated between the two tribes here, then maybe we can go in your stead and find out exactly what's going on. Because after all, we don't want you walking in there and there instantly being conflict. We are still strangers to these worlds, as this place in general, as much as we have proved yourself to your people. But it's best that we get the bigger picture around here before we start walking into each other's, well, grounds. Once again, it sounds like you need to reunite this land.
They kind of look to each other, and a few murmurs and mutterings go around the crowd. They seem to be a little bit wary of this change or idea, and they're not sure if they want you to just go alone. One of them turns around and goes, "You know no way! You know no way get there!"
No!
And Jack Rack turns and goes, "True. You need guides still. Find them. Far to northwest, there is large, flat area. The cabbage brains call Sunrise Shelf."
Okay.
Jackwack is sure you can only get there by flight like bird.
Very well. I think we do have that covered.
On this shelf, Jackwack heard of many mighty forces of plant and earth. Kill them for their badness. They kill us.
I would like to speak with their people before I start slaughtering theirs.
Not people. Big force, mighty plant. Big tree.
But we will be sure to avoid them before we get to them.
Watch out. Attack you on sight.
That's perfectly fine. I have come to these lands. We have all come to these lands perfectly prepared to at least defend ourselves. Lavellum Fireball. No, I'm joking. Don't do it.
You won't take that as a joke.
Remember, no Palthorians.
So we good to go then?
You still need guide. Yes?
Well then, perhaps as Ripdip has been such a good companion to us all, maybe he would be the one to take us there.
What?
He is, after all,
You
big
be your
brave.
babysitter for too long. Take Gigek.
But Ripdip, how would your companions know about you being unconscious for most of the fights? That you would... Or did I get my information wrong?
Ripdip-
Or would you like
No.
to talk about it on the way?
Ripdip best hunter. Ripdip slay queen.
I think I'd need to refresh my mind a little. Would you mind if he took us?
Jackwack speaks up and says, "Yes, Ripdip make good babysitter. You stay, guide with them." You see Ripdip kind of like sluggishly kind of drag his feet forward. It's like, fine, come on, honorary hunters.
I turn to Jackrack and say, if the way is as perilous as you say, perhaps you have some equipment that might be able to aid us?
Yes. He throws you a spear.
I mean, of the special kind of equipment.
He throws you a spear with feathers.
I actually do. Carius is just gonna pipe up and go. Just a matter of curiosity. You worship the moon and you get your power from it. How do you go about worshipping the moon? I'm interested in your rituals.
We go to Big Crumbly. Big Crumbly, of course. And then they all speak up. They're like, yes, oh, the Crumbly. Oh.
And what is Big Crumbly?
Big Crumbly is place of worship. Ancient, old, hidden
Is
within
it-
jungle.
Is it like one of your huts here, but really big and made of stone, but old?
Yes, you know Big Crumbly too.
I look at Kesh'an for a moment. I'm like, does that sound like where you want to go?
Does it sound like the Temple of the Sun and Moon?
You could only guess as to perhaps it sounds old. It sounds made of stone.
Did
temple
these
Kesh'an-
sea leaves go there as well, or is it just you?
That's a good question. Huh. Let me just think about that for a moment.
I think what the answer is
No.
going to be.
Hidden from sticky leaves. They not know where it be. Only find it by light of moon, and they not come out at night.
There we go. Yeah, that's pretty much answered my question.
Okay.
Carius, I think we have enough to go on.
Right.
But it is sacred. Sacred only to Borzo tribe.
Of course it is.
Yes, we will stay far away from it until we are granted permission as even better than honorary hunters to go there.
Yes. And he stabs his spear into the decking again. Goof, goof. Says, go now then. Take babysitter with you. Go to northeast. There'll be one. Siggy lives not like outsiders. And they have many guardians.
Northwest.
That's what I said, didn't I?
Is it northeast or northwest? Because just now you said northeast, and I've got northwest from earlier.
It might be west by the time you get there.
No, I want clarification, please.
You float. Yeah, float direction hard.
By help, I meant like the trinkets inside the chest.
I could do that.
You what?
The
By
what?
help, I meant the trinkets inside the chest.
It suddenly narrows his eyes. Raises suddenly. Several of them like look at you kind of suspiciously. You've been going through my phone.
Kesh'an looks at you suspiciously.
No, I can see them.
What? Ow! He suddenly jumps up and off the throne, and he kind of like spreads himself out to try and block you. He like turns around and like bends over, so he's like ass is facing you. He's like, you see it now, huh?
I mean, if I looked hard enough, sure.
Oh no!
Irina, help! Irina, help!
They look at you with wide eyes, Irina, like, huh?
But maybe some of that help would help us safely get there as your official hunters.
Oh. Roll me a persuasion check, Levon.
That's what I was waiting for.
And roll Kesh'an a deception check.
Can I just start listing what I can see to prove I can see through it?
15?
Yeah, certainly you can. 15. They go. It's mostly junk anyway. Sure, you can have a rusty. And he opens up to commemorate new honorary hunters. They can have a rusty. And yeah, you see he kind of like with big claws lifts up the actual chest, and as I mentioned, looks like the lock has been rusted a long time. But as his claws sort of scrape across it, the lid is unlocked, and inside, as you're listing them off, Irina, you do indeed see a bunch of screws, hammers, springs, gears, all kinds of strange mechanical bits and bobs. Yeah, and he says, these are relics of Old Moon tribe.
Can I use detect magic?
Yes, you can.
Just to see if anything is of special in nature.
Sure.
And if I may get a closer look so I can just try and see if anything's mentioned about this.
Sorry, say that again, Ken? If there's anything mentioned.
Yeah, if there's anything mentioned in the scroll about.
Ah, right, yes. No, you did remember that they are inventors, and they used to tinker and invent all kinds of different strange items. They said that I'll say that as in your reading, you remember that because they revered the moon not just out of randomness, out of just choosing a deity, but because there's apparently a meteor swarm once that they believed were chunks of the moon that landed, and then they used this moonstone to create wondrous item.
Right.
And that's why they gave worship to the moon, because it provided the fuel for them to exercise their invention.
Okay.
Okay. As you're looking through them, you do detect some magic coming from them, except some of it is faint, and some of it feels... Normally, when you see in detect magic, you notice auras. One of the auras seems to be like the appearance of shattered glass.
Only
They-
one.
No, there seems to be several, and they seem to be all piled up on top of each other. Like the auras are like a pile of broken glass.
Something in there is broken.
Effectively, yes. The magic on it has kind of been weakened and destroyed. And you see he's clawing through the actual chest, like with his huge claws, picking stuff out. And he's like, nyeh, nyeh, throwing stuff over his shoulder. And as he does,
That makes sense.
each time he seems to touch one of them with the claws, it seems to break, and the aura disappears from it.
Ooh, whoa. Calm down there.
Mm,
You're destroying the items as you claw through them.
It already rusted, broken.
Their uses. Just
Hmm?
be careful, gentle, please.
Okay. He tries to carefully pick out a gear, and
Can I?
as there's this kind of like aura of abjuration, and as he like picks it up with the claws, you see the magic suddenly like dim out and shatter.
Oh, oh!
Llewellyn's little heart is aching.
I just can I pick one, please?
Hmm.
I'll be very careful. I respect your things.
Okay. You pick one.
Probably more than you do.
Okay. You go over to it. The first thing kind of laying on the top seems to be like this kind of horseshoe shape of something. You're not sure what the hell that is. You see what looks to be like a mirror that has been all shattered and broken up, sort of adding to that idea of the broken glass.
Can I try and find something where the aura doesn't look damaged?
Yeah, sure. One thing that seems to be quite well contained is a little pouch that has yet to have been touched by the actual, what's it called, by the claws. And that's giving off a magic. Yes. I forget what kind of magic it is, though. It's, I guess, like a kind of, it's like a stored sort of power. You can't really tell what magic it is. It's got a potential to be any magic.
Ooh, I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll pick it up, shall I say? And
Sure. You have a look at it, and as you undo the pouch inside, there looks to be like a small round pearl, but it's shaped and designed to be like that of the moon. So it's kind of got these little craters and pot marks all over it. But it seems to have like this sheen about it, a silvery glow. And it's definitely giving off magic.
Useful. I will take this if that's okay with you. And it should definitely help us on the way.
Okay. You take moonshiny.
But if you need help in the future, I can help tell you what each of these things might do.
What they do?
Like, other than what they look like they do.
What do you mean they do what they do?
You'll find out.
You're
we
talking doo-doo.
Once we come back.
Hmm.
Okay. And I put it into my pocket.
Sure.
Oh my god. Just
Alright.
his heart is just breaking at all these magical items. It's like,
If Irina knew they were magical, she'd probably be just as heartbroken.
it's just
Yeah.
internally crying but not trying to show it.
Alright.
Oh.
So, there you go. You've gained a little magical item for now. Alright. Rip Dib turns to you and he goes, okay, we go now?
Yes, I think we are ready to be off.
I'll pause you right there and also say that you remember that you would return back to the ship at least within a day, otherwise they were going to effectively send out a search party for you.
Oh yeah, that's a good
So you
idea.
could stop off at the boat before heading off.
I'll send the raven.
You've also got a load of fruit to drop off and deliver.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, let's head back. Let's head back.
It's all right. You're not like going out of your way or just going to take a longer part of your journey. You will actually have to go back this way anyway to get a clean view of the island and sort of chart your path.
Can a raven?
And Ripdip, for the most part, seems to be kind of like following you, almost like as if you are perhaps going the right way to begin with. But when you start descending down, that is, depending on how you get down, Ripdip's like, where you go?
We need to head back to the rest of our people before we head further forward. They need to make sure that we are okay.
Your people? But they back there. Your tribe now.
These are like family twice removed.
Oh, you have own slaves as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we go pick up your slaves. Let's go.
What?
It's okay, just go along with it, Lavelle.
Okay.
Perfect,
Makes
yeah, we'll
sense.
head back.
Makes sense. Okay, so you come up to the very edge of the jungle path, and you can actually still see your sails just barely beneath the cloud cover. How do you guys get down again? Or are you sending off the raven as a sort of messenger?
I was going to do that, but if we have to take some
There we go.
fruit,
Yeah, you
out-
can send your raven down to get perhaps someone to come up, I guess.
Oh, are we at the edge where the ship would be down below?
Yes.
I'll cast fly and just fly down with them,
All
I
right,
was just laid
So they-
down carrying some stuff.
so they don't come up and become slaves.
Okay. Yeah, no, that works.
And I'll,
All right.
and I'll spend 10 minutes down the identifying the pearl as well.
Sure. Whilst Ribdip is waiting, he just goes about fishing in the nearby river and snacking on a few fishies. Alright, let's see then. You were going down one by one on the glaive?
Sorry,
or-
very quickly. Steph, Kirsty, what did you miss?
The last thing I remember Chris saying about the ship sending out a search party.
Yeah, so we pretty much said that we were going to head back to the ship. Ripdip turned around and said, why are you going this way? This isn't the way we need to go. We said we needed to head back to our people. He said, but your people are the tribe. You are tribe's people now. And we said, no, they're kind of like family twice removed. And he said, you have your own slaves. And so we're just going along with that.
Yeah. And now we're going to go back down to the ship to drop the fruit off, but we're not bringing them up to the island. Otherwise, they might get taken as slaves.
Okay.
Alright,
So
so
Leave Rip
that
up
one's
there.
flying down there using the fly spell. I'm in a glaive down there. I can take one other person if anyone wants to go down to.
sure.
I mean, do
Was
we
there-
all need to go?
Not
Yes.
really. Oh yeah. So I'll grab someone at half speed flying then.
Sure. Well, it's not hard. You guys can be like,
And
Uh,
Kesh'an can literally just like fall most of that way.
I mean,
you
Oh.
can slow fall, couldn't you?
We
to
could
be
all
honest,
swap.
I'd probably stay up if we're
Sure.
just doing a quick trip.
Okay then. Alright.
I'm
So
Peter Panning someone down.
alright, so everyone but Kesh'an, you head on down.
And
No, I think I'm
No,
gonna stick
not
up here
going to
too.
either. I've got no reason to go back down to the ship, so
To make the alcohol.
Oh, are they going to make the alcohol that quickly?
You still need.
I know what Chris is trying to do.
You literally are going to be down there for an hour because he's identifying the thing.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, if he's identifying, then we'll
Fine.
join.
It'd be 10
Alcohol.
minutes, but yeah.
And also it allows me to do this, and I grab hold of Ripdip and I say, right, our ship is down there. So hold on tight, and I'm going to jump off. And I'm not going to use slow fall until we're about like 100 feet above the ship. So we're like free falling for a good like 2-3 miles or whatever it is.
Oh my god.
What are you oh my godding, man?
Just that. Just.
This is where we find out he's part flying squirrel and just goes.
Sugar glider.
Had this, so going by usual party matchups, I'm guessing you'd carry Andy Llewellyn and Irina on the back of the glaive.
Sure.
So as you come back down, you see Captain Montipot down there waiting at your arrival, as well as Randa, Kiwi, and Lime are down there, as well as Finzu, the halfling. They're still kind of milling around on the ship. And let's move this out of the way. There they are. And he says, the captain speaks up and says, welcome back. You look like you're all in one piece.
So to speak.
Yeah, there are giant killer hornets that inject you with their young on that island. It's quite fun.
Finzu's like, well, I'm glad I stayed here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
we
Certainly a good tale to share for a flagon of whatever the hell you make out of all this fruit.
You see Kiwi's licking his lips as you talk about the killer hornets. He's like,
and we
sounds delicious.
we brought you a new crew member to mop the decks.
No.
Literally, you could use him to mop the decks. He's all furry.
Oh, what was this furry friend? As he steps onto the planks of the wood, you suddenly see his whole skin texture turn to wood.
This is Rip Dip. We are not going to be casting a spell to make you understand him because he will probably try to make you his slave. However, this is half of the island's inhabitants.
It looks like a wood carving.
His.
But about as smart as one too.
I just kind of like put my hand on his head and just watch his like fur just turn my color.
Yeah. And you see Lime speak, and he's like, "Oh, he's like a chameleon. Very interesting and very tasty."
He is
Especially when
definitely not
roasted.
he's not a chameleon. So please
You
don't
see
try.
Kiwi and Lime sniffing the air. Why? What's that sweet smell?
Oh yeah, the honey.
We have honey, yeah.
Yeah, we got some honey, we got some fruit, we got some giant wasp stingers.
Excellent.
I'll hand them my vial of honey.
Excellent. We'll throw it in the pot and cook it right away. And Randa speaks up. It's like, no, wait. I can make a use of that. This isn't for eating. It's for something far more special. Now, get, and he kind of kicks them away. It's like, right, let's have a look at these fruit. Ooh, you did good. These are pretty good. Still ripe. They haven't rotted. Some of them are covered in honey, but that's not a problem. In fact, come to think of it, might be able to use that. Part of the concoction.
Some of them might be a little bit cooked.
Oh yeah.
Right, well, I'll get about stilling this. And, alright, I'll be right back. And he's taking all the ingredients down to a little stilling installation that he's got. In the meantime, Captain has a message for you. And he says, "Aye. So, you know that dragon that was around earlier?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's taken off.
Right.
Pretty sure that was the plan.
It was, but he's dropping off a friend of yours first.
Oh, I was going to ask how he was. He seemed a bit seasick last time I was on the ship. Where's he going?
Seasick is one thing. Maybe homesick is a better description. Maybe both. But
Oh, where's
He
the
did-
dragon dropping him off?
I'm not sure. Though either he's gone off on an adventure of his own, or I think he said that he needed to return home. But regardless, he left a letter for you, addressed to the party.
Ooh.
Read the letter.
He hands you a note, and in perfect calligraphy, as it was once when you first saw his handwriting on that letter you received as Datan. You see the writing is addresses everyone as a party, and says, "Well, I thank you all for your company on this venture. I have come close with death in that fight with that gigantic sea monster, and well, it made me realize something afterwards. You see, I may have told a couple of you already, mostly Carius, about the reason why I was on this quest to begin with, and that I was seeking a prize, seeking a treasure like no other, that I could return back home to offer my deity, in hopes to perhaps win her heart fully. But I realized that if by putting myself in danger, mortal danger, if I died out here, it would all be for naught anyway. My deity wouldn't want me to risk my own life just to bring a material worth to her, just to please her. I sort of came to my senses after that. Thankfully, after that narrow escape that Carius got me out of. But I expected no less from a loyal bodyguard such as himself. But I am releasing you of your charge, Carius. After hearing the news that your home may be under attack, there's more pressing matters than my own. And I believe that you should follow your own path instead of just looking out for me. I will do all I can to aid you in this matter. I've taken it upon myself to perhaps scout out these islands with your newfound dragon friend, and if it does prove to be a good grounds for his clan to migrate to, then perhaps I'll send word, and that information can be yours to use as you wish. But for now, I will be taking my leave, and I wish you all the best. You seem like capable heroes. And I know that you will wield your powers in for just and for good. So thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of your adventure. Signed, Castellius.
Well. That's... Well, at least I don't have to worry about keeping him safe, so the others won't be too miffed, and the king will certainly not be after my head, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm gonna shocking grass, basically, to use the electricity to incinerate the letter.
Yes.
Just be like, right, shall we get going then?
Yeah. I'll also mention that there's a small mention as well about the advance payment that you've received is all yours, effectively. Because you were sort of contracted to protect him for a long period of time, and you would get that money at the end. He's forwarded that to you, so there's a sack of gold with that document of release to you, which kind of ties up and explains how Carius is so damn rich. Because
Yeah.
This is effectively like a 10-year contract up front, all the payment forwarded to you.
Crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
That aside, are you not concerned about your home?
That was going to be my question.
I mean, right now, I can't get there. He's doing what he's got to do to try to save that. From what we believe, that storm that they're planning to use isn't going to be due for a while.
That's right.
So we've got, I think we said it was like a month or two, something like that.
Yeah, it was a couple months before this attack was brewing, and they're waiting for the perfect storm, literally. They're waiting for weather patterns to build up until the Mirage Mountains are full of storm clouds, which will then wash over the south side of the Claude Coast.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that area is generally quite stormy, as I've found out before. So if they're waiting for a perfect storm, and that's going to probably be a while, at least a couple of months from what the dragon said. So for now, whilst we're here, I'd rather get this job done and then get going. I'm trying not to think about it too much, so let's just get going.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go then.
Gotcha.
And Zafarop, his goal was to seek out this new region known as Suzaku region, and there's apparently a desert island that is the perfect sort of climate for blue dragons to migrate to. And if that's the case, then they won't have to worry about attacking all the other denizens of the Claude Coast. They can move their clan effectively, but we'll see how much that proves to be useful, regardless. During this short interlude and break, you have identified the strange
Moonball.
moon pearl, and it is a pearl of power.
Ooh.
Stars up to a level.
Third level.
Ooh.
Anyone can make use of this. It's as a spellcaster. It's quite useful for warlocks, especially because having extra spell slots is amazing. But it can equally be used by a wizard to sort of have an extra spell slot. Yeah, but I'll drag it onto.
Does it only store a spell slot, or can it store a spell?
You regain a spell slot, so it's sort of like a little font of power that you can call upon, and then it restores a spell slot. It doesn't have a spell in it. That's why I was kind of trying to describe it as more of a potential of any school of magic. So I guess it had like a silver aura about it, which is an aura that you've not really yet seen.
I think
But it restores every dawn as well. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change that to every night. Bah.
every night it's
Yeah,
restored.
every moonrise. There we go. Because it draws its power from the moon. So long as you hold it up to the moon, it will then regain its spell slot.
I think Irina's probably gonna benefit from this the most.
Hmm.
I explain to her what it does.
Cool.
Shiny,
Right.
shiny. Moony, moony. Shooty,
Yeah,
shooty.
Llewellyn hands you this strange pearl that's in the shape of the moon. It has little craters pot-marked all over it. It has a silvery kind of glow to it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you can use up to a third level
I
extra.
still want the robes back. This doesn't get you out of it.
What?
And I get out my notebook and I'll do a quick sketch of the necklace and write down what it does.
Gotcha. Does require attunement if you want to do that.
Might as well.
Cool.
Well, we've got
Got
we
time.
can do that on our travels, I suppose.
No, wait. I'm nearly done down here. Come down below deck. You see, you hear Randa's voice.
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah.
Got a little celebratory drink down here. This is kind of like over the course of the hour that you've identified and you're attuning, and also reading the letter. But you'll be on your way again shortly. Don't worry. For now, though, Randa has got all these drinks concocted. Let's have a look here. So he's got a couple of flagons poured out for you guys. This needs to be a bit calmer. There we go. Alright, 1 second. Okay. Alright, so yes, I'm still at it. That was a pun. Anyway, now that we've got the raw materials, and I've had my assistant ready the still, and you see Kiwi's there as well, sort of overseeing the process. But yeah, I just want to offer my thanks. You didn't have to go out of your way to get these for us, but you know it's going to keep spirits high. So thank you.
More than welcome. After all, you are taking us across the seas, so it's the least we could do.
Aye. Well, all the ingredients are here. They've been heated at the exact right time, and well, I hope that this distilling went well. Nonetheless, the million gold question is, can you drink it?
Oh god. Oh god.
Don't you go anywhere just yet. You'll be responsible for overseeing the sampling of the product too. So, the taste test. For the moment of truth. And he's sort of chuckling to himself as he's pouring it. The moment of truth. I've always wanted to say that. Normally I'd debut a new drink at like a banquet, but we can't have one in the middle of a jungle. Instead, just take these samples to a few trusted friends and return with their comments. Let's see. We'll definitely want the captain's opinion, and Finzu's too. And let's give a taster to Lime as well. They're still here on the ship. But yeah, head over to the landing and see what they say. So he kind of hands you like 3 flagons. Should you go?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well,
He hands one to like each of you, I guess, and you can each kind of like test it or hand it to the crew of the ship themselves.
I'll try one.
Mm-hmm.
Come
You're
on.
gonna mix it.
Come on,
Yeah,
Kesh'an. We keep
Carius does the same. He just downs it.
Yeah.
Llewellyn links Kesh'an's arm in the hole, like.
Yeah, alright.
Drinking buddies.
Yeah.
I say give it to the crew first, but you're brave. You're brave indeed.
No,
All right.
God.
Oh, no.
You can still do that if you like.
Oh yeah.
We're
Andy?
trying it.
You joining us?
She's almost a bit skeptic because she's just kind of like, this can't be alcohol yet. Doesn't alcohol take months to turn into alcohol?
We live in a world full of magic where I can turn into fire and you can shoot stars from a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I've only just learned I can do that.
And I flew.
And now you're
because of it.
learning alcohol can be made in a mere hour.
He takes his finger and taps his large nose and goes, Steinhammer secret. We're not 12th best in the universe for nothing.
I thought it was a multiverse.
Multi. Now,
You've really got to explain how you go to the other universe at some point. That sounds fun.
alright. So, Llewellyn, you swear you've just aged another 10 years after drinking this because, God, it burns really fiercely in your chest. Yeah, it's got a hell of a kick to it. As for Irina, you feel something ignited within you. The fire sort of almost begins to simmer out of your skin. You can see smoke rising from your scabbard. It seems just like even even Candlewick is sort of tapped into it. But yeah, it is fiery hot. As for you, Kesh'an, it makes every single one of your hairs curl. You go from like perfect kind of pristine fur to like sort of like curly fries now. And yeah, as for you, Carius, oh yeah, this is some good stuff. He clearly knows what he's doing. Damn, it seems to dance around in your tongue and then just rakes down your throat as well, giving you a solid burn as well. And there's that fruity taste to it as well. The banana is definitely coming through, but it's not overpowering. It's definitely a nice mixture of different tastes without one overtaking the other.
No honey?
Oh,
You know,
of course, there's the honey taste as well. After the burn is all done and all said and done, you're left with this kind of sweet taste on the tip of your tongue that wasn't there before, but is now.
it reminds me of a whiskey I had with my sister back in the dry oasis, but somehow more than that. It's like that was like a watered down version compared to this.
Oh yeah, this is straight from the distiller, so it's bound to be strongest. Yeah,
Do you reckon it'll get stronger if it ferments longer?
most likely, but maybe I'll get a bit more honey to keep the fire down. Here, hand the flagon to the rest of the crew. See what they say.
Yeah.
Shall do.
Well, I don't know about you, but that was awesome.
I'm honestly in my head, because I've got like the belt of dwarven kind, I'm just picturing the mouth on it just turning into a smile after drinking that.
Oh god.
So, in fact, because this guy's a dwarf, I'm actually going to congratulate him in fluent dwarfish.
Brilliant. Alright, so who's handing the one to Captain? Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's out on the deck, looking out, and he's like, "What you got there?"
A flagon of some form of alcohol that's been made upon your deck, if that's a legal thing on board.
It's like
Yeah.
sitting on a campfire.
Do you think we care about laws out this far into the ocean?
I didn't think so. It's strong.
Besides that, my thirst is gonna outweigh any laws right now.
Just don't tell your grandson.
He can't hold a drink.
No, he cannot.
They meant the illegal thing.
All right. He's gonna drink it down. Oh yeah, I forgot to have everyone roll a Constitution save.
Oh
Um,
god.
I get
There it is.
because that would technically be a poison effect.
Oh
so I
wait,
get-
no, my con's 19 at the moment, so I'm actually not bad with it. Yeah, boom.
Oh yeah, Llewellyn, that burn is not going away. In fact, you feel like the ship is at full sail right now, stumbling around. Irina, it makes you very, very merry. And as for Kesh'an and Karis, you've tasted good drinks, very strong drinks in the past, and this rivals those. You're gonna need to drink more to get properly drunk. For you have got a iron stomach, it seems.
Andy, you've got to try this.
I'm
It's not
literally
that-
shaking Andy like, you gotta try it.
It's not that strong. Trust me. In fact, you shot me from an arrow.
Yeah, that was different. That is not an intoxication thing.
I don't know, it's pretty invigorating.
I don't know. I like to try and keep my wits about me if we're going into danger.
No one's saying drink the whole thing, just have a wee taste.
Maybe a little.
Alright.
I did my pinky.
Jib. Okay. It's up
It's
to you.
like, if you want to be merry, I can't really play my violin well when I'm drunk.
I beg
Fair
to
play.
differ. Maybe you can sound even better.
No,
Which-
it's happened before and it was not pretty.
One day.
Is it lime or kiwi that's the lizard folk
Yeah.
that was a bit mean?
This is Kiwi, and he's the mean one. He's helping the distilling.
Damn, I wanted it to be him who I gave the drink to because I wanted him to like fail and fall overboard.
Oh my
Lime is-
god.
Sorry.
I'll go give it to Lime because I
Okay.
like him. Lime, you gotta try this. It's good stuff.
Oh my. Ah. Tastes like I'm drinking wood polish. The same I use for the ship's deck.
You must use some really tasty wood polish.
It's got a lemon edge to it. Very fruity. Very nice. Fragrant. Ooh, sweet too. Yeah, he seems to like it. As Kesh'an, you've given the one to Monty Pot. says-
I'll do the last one.
Oh, to Finzu. Okay, so Monty Pot's chugging it down, and you can see some of it like dripping past his beard. He's clearly thirsty as all hell. As he kind of wipes his beard away. Ah, that's just what I needed. It's got my vote. That'll put hairs on your chest like nothing else will.
I do not want hairs on my chest.
You just see Irina looking down her own shirt like,
Oh,
And
I
the-
kind of want that to be what potentially triggers the Belt of Dwarven kind other effect. Because I haven't rolled for it today. I'm gonna roll for it. I think it's a 50% chance, so 1 I get the beard, 2 I don't. I don't get the beard.
There's a couple of hairs. Maybe there is a couple of hairs poking through, but it's not a full
Yeah,
beard.
it just looks a bit more,
Probably.
yeah.
Do I see any more?
Kesh'an,
your tail is now repaired.
yeah,
Sad that I burnt off.
Yeah. I'll say for sure. Where it got singed before, it's now,
It's
got a
now
new
proper
plumage.
pom.
Sure. It's got a kind of yellowy sort of texture to it. Maybe from the honey. Maybe it's from the bananas. You're not sure. It's got like a yellow tip to it. Adorable.
Where is Finbu?
So, and the villain, as you climb up to the crow's nest
Yeah.
and hand Finzu, he's up
Like-
there smoking his pipe.
As a fellow pirate, I've been told to give you your medicine.
Sure. I'm always up for a drink. He starts tasting it. Takes a bit more, another swig. Well, so far it's something my wife would drink. And then suddenly he takes a big gulp, and then he collapses on top of the crow's nest. You quickly catch him before he tips over the edge.
Nope.
And he's
I
like,
got
whoa, there's the kick I've come to expect from Randa Steinhammer's drinks. Whew, I like it. Yeah, I actually climbed down from here.
I join you at the bottom, and I sit on the edge, and I give him a salute and just fall back over the edge.
Man overboard.
Fly and feather fall as I get to the bottom.
Sure.
I only got
Wait.
11.
You land on top of one of the cannons, and you're just like riding it, like cowboy style. The only one left is Kiwi, and he's kind of like got his arms folded as everyone's enjoying themselves. He's like, it can't be that good.
I'll go
Oh.
and give him the one that Andy was supposed to drink.
All right, sure. He takes a gulp of it, and he's like, I'll roll a con save for him. He starts coughing almost immediately. He does seem to manage it, but as he turns around, he's like, turns to his compatriot, Lime, and says, reminds me of the time we ate that Yuan-Ti venom monster. And we used a whole bottle of the stuff. But
I just shrug and go back over to Andy and just start dancing.
Like, Carius, who is over there, giving you ate a yarn tea?
Yeah.
did I,
I
say that
mean-
loud?
I mean, technically you're a lizard folks, so they're both reptilian. It's like, no, that doesn't count as cannibalism, does it?
Not quite. Plus,
It's
You
close.
very- very evil. Venomancers are ones who worship Dendar.
Oh yeah, you don't want to worship Dendar, he's a dick.
See,
It's just Carius' response.
That is
He has no idea who Dendar is, probably. He's just like, yeah.
well, she is a mistress of the night, one who seeks to bring about the end of the world, and all that kind of stuff.
Sounds like someone who deserves a slap, but, you know.
All right, with all the reviews in, you see Rando's like, haha, well, that's a good response from at least most of them. I see a job well done. And to you. And he kind of like takes a toast and downs a drink himself. He's like, oh, yes. But now for a name. What should we call this creation?
Oh god. The Kioster Kicker. The Stunning Strike. Oh my god. Yes.
That sounds like one of those cocktails, like
Yeah.
that just floors you, literally.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, I was about to suggest the fruity stinger.
Oh, you could even use one of like the stingers as like one of like you know where they normally put like the umbrella in, just have as like
Yeah.
Oh,
a little
the Stunning
decoration.
Stinger.
Well, it definitely has a fruity punch to it. That's
Yeah.
so much I'll say. Sure, a stunning strike it is. And he takes another sip. Cool, and there it is. Yeah. All right.
How do you reckon that compares to some of the best of the Steinhammer brews?
It's, you know what? It's different. That's as good enough for me. Because out here, time for a bit of change, I think. Not my traditional brew, but this is definitely gonna, you know, stir up it's gonna cause quite a stir when we bring it back to civilization.
You
I'd
might
like
say it's gonna stir up a hornet's nest.
Very good. All right, now buzz off, all of you.
Oh. You guys suck.
He bottles up.
Oh wait, Rip Dip's on the ship. Give it some to Rip Dip.
Yes! Yes! Some to Rip Dip.
You'll be pleased to know he's got a very hearty con save, but sure. He's like, what this? And as he's grabbing it, he has to like hold it with two hands. The flagon's that big in his grasp.
It's famous fruit punch, the stunning strike, courtesy of your former slave, Kesh'an.
Can't understand you.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he sort of just looks at it. Maybe he hears you and he's like, meh. And glugs it back.
Oh, no.
He's like, kind of licks his lips for a moment, looks up, and without even like a blink, he just says, good. And just hands back the whole empty, literally an empty flagon. And for a creature that small, you reckon that's like enough to drink the whole day. But he stands completely stalwart. He doesn't even sway a tiny bit. Seems old Rip Dip's got quite the belly.
He's going to be peeing for a lifetime.
As a slight curiosity point, as we've been like hanging with him, and because we've had the translation through the telepathic bond, would we potentially have been able to pick up any words at all so we have made, like really broken understanding of what he's saying?
Yeah, you start to get the idea of what he's been whacking you with a stick every time, trying to get you to go, like to motivate you. Which is like mon. Mon means, come on, let's go.
Okay.
And walking means faster.
Fair. That makes sense.
And you've also heard Jack Rack when he kind of got everyone to come round as he was like slamming his staff. Seems like there's a word for like gather, which is shackle. That sounds like it's gather or come close.
That makes sense. So we're gradually grasping the language, but
Mm-hmm.
not enough yet.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. And it does sound like familiar now that you're picking up on a few bits. It does sound like it might be like broken gnomish, like a primitive gnome-ish sort of language. But yeah. All right.
Can I just point out, it's been about 2 hours, 3 hours since we woke up this morning.
Yes.
And some of us were already ratted.
That's very good. That's a good point. Oh well. It's all good. All right. You converse with the captain. You start obviously asking what your plans are next, and
Yes.
he says, "Well, be careful out there. Sounds like what they were describing might be more of those elemental things you found when you first arrived."
Well, potentially, when we return to the top and we find this this elven tribe, hopefully our plans will be to effectively be the same thing. I mean, I'm not sure how primitive elves can actually go, but I think we might be welcomed a bit more easily, and we'll be able to communicate a bit better.
Of course. Try to broker some peace.
Yes, indeed. It's just a shame that none of us know any of the languages here. It would be a little bit more useful.
Well, weren't the borzo particularly annoyed when you tried to speak Sylvan at them? Like, they said it was the language of the Siggy leaves.
Yes, however...
So we might be able to communicate a bit better, even if it's broken.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully I do speak Sylvan myself, so it might be a little bit more easier to understand. But once again, this is a primitive gnome tribe. This is a gnome and elvish tribe, so I'm not sure how broken it is going to be with them. But hopefully it might be a little bit more easier, at least.
Yep.
Alright. Run into any trouble and send that raven. We'll try to get some backup as soon as you can get it, as soon as we can. But not much we can do with our cannons from down here.
Of course. The aim for this place isn't to cause hell and pillage and...
Right, of course.
Exactly. But
Well,
we will try our best.
we're at least a safe retreat if you need it. If you're saying you're going around the north side of the island, do you want us to sail round there as well?
That would actually be very useful. In fact, I'll kind of explain where it is. If you look from this island and you head northeast, and then I think he said west at the same time, so just take your pick and I'm sure you'll find us.
Benji speaks up and says, well, as it happens, I've seen a couple of the islands shifting and floating around up there. They don't seem to, like, smack into each other, but they're all kind of held in place by these weird clouds, and there's these big arcing bridges of vines and roots. Maybe if you can't find the right island, you can at least cross over from one of them to the other. But sounds like with your powers of flight, not too much of an issue for you.
Shouldn't be.
Whilst you are looking at the islands, I think they described this one as being like quite a flat plain. Did you see anything like that?
Rib speaks up and goes, yes, shelf.
Yeah, like a shelf.
Can't say I have. But maybe that's because we're on the wrong side. We need to sail around and see it. But it must be one of the higher ones, I think.
I mean, would it make sense to stay on the ship and sail round to the north and then just go up from there, rather than coming up here, having the ship sail round?
Yeah.
Just going there anyway.
Can certainly try it.
That could work.
What do you think? He says, not a bad idea. Sure. You're welcome to stay aboard while we bring her around.
Aye, and I'll do my best to help with the sailing.
Alrighty. Everyone, sit cozy. We're about to set sail. I know it feels like we're already already underway, Llewellyn, but please stop swaying around. You're giving me a headache.
Dance.
You see it's just sort of like from one foot to the other, sort of steady swaying back and forth. All
I'm
right.
going to go in and sit in the cabin
Hmm.
and just kind of like sit peacefully.
All right. But coming up to about 10 o'clock, and seems like a good place to perhaps end it. You guys are going to effectively sail now away from where you first landed here and try to go underneath the islands, and or even around it, perhaps, whatever you feel safest, just in case one of the islands does drop. It doesn't seem like it's dropped all the time you've been here, so there is that. But to avoid perhaps any needless dangers, yeah, Captain Montybot does take the ship kind of around and start to spot out any potential islands. Might take a day or two to get there, but we'll see. Because the archipelago is vast and, well, there's multiple islands. And if you're spying just one of them, this kind of shelf, it may take a while to sort of see the clouds separate, to sort of spot it, especially if it's one of the highest ones. But we'll see what happens next session as the group continue to push out and scout the Stratus archipelago. But again, apologies for the technical difficulties, but thank you for your
Sorry, on my
patience.
behalf.
That's all right, not a big deal. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We'll also be live again Sunday with Baba Yaga's Dancing Hut, The Witch Hunters, at 6 p.m. GMT, and then again on Monday at 6 p.m. GMT, we are playing Curse of Strahd, GM'd by James here, as we continue our adventures as the Curse Breakers. And then straight after that, Tomb of Annihilation with the Last Resort Company. So, thank you all again. Any other sign-offs anyone want to do?
And if you've missed any of our content, feel free to catch us on YouTube. Links are hopefully below, if I remember correctly.
Excellent. Alrighty, guys. Stay safe. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was a good session.